Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 31 of Beach Talk Radio. My name is Ed Ryan, along with Kim Ryan, my wife, and today is Saturday, January 26th, 2019. We are live inside Pete's Timeout on Fort Myers Beach. You can watch the show on Facebook or listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, the Beach Talk Radio app, or the Spreaker app. Video of all our shows are archived on the Facebook and the YouTube, and all audio is archived on beachtalkradio.com. We have a very special show today, and it's one we wish we weren't doing. On Sunday, January 20th, Fort Myers Beach Library Director Dr. Leroy Hommerding was senselessly murdered as he was opening a library for the second day of a book sale. He was 69 years old. A memorial service is being held today for Dr. Hommerding at 1 o'clock in the library garage. There are several issues related to this horrible tragedy. There's the criminal side, which we'll be watching and reporting on as the alleged killer is dealt with by authorities. There's the issue of the homeless on the beach, which we'll also deal with in future shows. And there's the personal side, which is what we're focusing on today. Dr. Hommerding was a big part of the Fort Myers Beach community. He made a lasting impression on the community, and he has many friends. We're going to speak to some of them today. Dr. Hommerding was hired as the library director in 2000. During his tenure, he oversaw the building of the new state-of-the-art library on Estero Boulevard. Dr. Hommerding was also on the board of the Friends of the Library. He was the treasurer of the Estero Island Historic Society. He was a regular volunteer at the Kiwanis Thrift Store, and he also previously served on the board of directors of the Mound House. Dr. Hommerding leaves behind 7 brothers and sisters and 22 nieces and nephews, and too many friends to count. One of those friends joining us right now is Mitch Pacina. Mitch, thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning.
I understand you want to read something first?
Yeah, as I was sitting at the library and my greeter's job on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it was, I just came up with a few notes that about our beloved Leroy was one of the kindest, knowledgeable, gentle, strongest men I have ever known. His determination and drive to make our library one of the best in the country was his life and dream. His never-ending quest to modernize the function of the system was unique. Technology, ecologically, and community mindfulness was always on his mind. He will always be guiding the new leadership of the library in spirit, as his spirit will always be in the building. You know he will always be along on every guided tour. He was a great friend. Thank you. That's good.
So, Mitch, how's everybody doing?
It was a rough week for all of us at the library, and so many of his friends.
What is planned for today at 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock today, there's a big memorial service in the garage at the library to hold as many people as possible. The fire department is there already this morning, draping the building. They're setting up the garage already. And then there will be a sunset memorial at the beach bar tonight, approximately 6:30.
How long have you been working at the library?
I've been close to 3 years now.
And what do you do there?
I'm the greeter.
Oh, you're the greeter.
Yeah, I'm the greeter down in LA, so I get to see everybody come in this week.
What do you think Leroy meant to the community?
Incredible friend, beloved to the community. His one of his big strides in life was making the library for the community.
Mm-hmm. And so how long did you know him?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And what was it like to come to that library and see him there? And what do you think, the interaction was with the community and with the people that came to the library?
Just his presence every day, which he spent many hours there, among all, like Ed says, among all his other things he loved to do. It just started our day, or started the day in the afternoon if that was your shifts, and it's just incredible.
It's my understanding that the library that we see now, it was his idea from top to bottom.
Yes, all the modernization, his future plans. I mean, that's what I mean. It was more than a library. It was a lot of people say it's a museum. His technology, to keep up with computers and just everything that modernized and helped everybody possible.
And I was reading too that there's some specific paintings of that gives you the beach feel on the inside.
Yes, on our third floor at the library, every month he had a new artist of the month, and displayed their great paintings.
What's the story behind the big puzzle?
Well, it's another thing he did for the community. He started doing puzzles. He had tables on our second floor that anybody could join in, and from $8,000 piece puzzle, which she loved, and framed it afterwards, and it's still hanging there. But it's a regular thing for a lot of people that come in and use to play with the puzzles.
Do you have a specific memory that you want to talk about, or two that you can tell the people about the interaction with you two?
I mean, his beloved love for the children, his tours that he would give. He was so proud.
So at 1 o'clock today, what do you have an idea what's going to take place? Do you have an idea what the agenda is?
You know what? I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I didn't mean to throw that at
Yeah.
you. And then you were telling me before that at 7:30 when they do the sunset, they're going to
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
Sorry. Talk about the flag.
Oh, it's a nightly lowering of the flag at the beach bar. It's a regular thing, and they sing our Pledge of Allegiance, I believe, at sunset, and they'll be dedicating the sunset today to Leroy.
Is there anything anybody can do in the community to help out the folks at the library or the family, or is anything needed?
Yeah, I mean, knowing Leroy, in lieu of flowers or anything like that, any contribution to friends of the library, just keep visiting his library.
Great.
Yeah.
And do you know what the future vision of the library was that Leroy had for things to come up?
Maybe like a covered archway over the entrance to help people protect from the rain. I'm sure he had many a vision coming up to just keep modernizing it as much as possible.
Well, when you drive by that library, it's an awesome sight to see.
Yes, it's one of the nicest buildings on the island, and I don't know what's going to happen now, but I'm sure Leroy will stay involved.
So, how are you doing?
It's been rough this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we really appreciate you coming on, and look forward to the rest of the day. And sometimes just nothing you can say. So,
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Mitch, for coming on, and we'll talk to you again.
And thank you and Kim for having all of us today in honor of Leroy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Mitch. Mitch Pacina, everybody. You can find him down at the library or later on today at 1 o'clock. He'll be down at the memorial service, which is being held at the garage down at the library. And then the service at the beach club tonight is going to be at 6:30 at the beach bar where they lower the flag. And that will also be in honor of Leroy. That was Mitch Pacina, and we're going to have more guests that come on from the library and from friends of Leroy.
Yes, I just met somebody who I think is supposed to be going on with you, but she is here now.
Alrighty.
And she brought her daughter
Okay.
to tell a story, but her daughter's a little
Shy.
so
okay.
she may tell the story. Would you like me to go?
It's a good thing. Yeah, why don't you go grab them? And it's a good
Okay.
thing that you're interviewing the shy people because I'll just scare them. So, once again, folks, you can watch us on Facebook or you can download the Beach Talk Radio app, which is on the Apple App Store, at the Apple App Store. That's where you can get our app. We're also on Spotify. We're also on iHeartRadio. And, of course, you can always listen on beachtalkradio.com. And we'll be here until 10 o'clock today. We're inside Pete's timeout. We're usually sitting outside Pete's, but today, because it's a little bit windy and chilly, we're sitting inside.
It is. I heard the weather is going to be like this for the week, too.
And I also always wanted to test the inside studio. It's quite quaint, and we get to be closer to Terry, which is always nice.
We
She
do.
likes that.
We try to stay out of their way.
Yeah.
They're serving wonderfully warm coffee and
Yes.
amazing hot tea.
Great. Well,
All right. You're going to
turn
take
it
a
over to
break.
you, yeah.
And we have Carrie. She's going to give us some information and share her memories. Good morning. It's fine. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? It's a little chilly out here.
It's a little chilly out here. So can you tell us how you know Leroy, Dr.
Well,
Leroy?
I know Leroy from a professional standpoint. I used to work for the Island Sandpaper.
Oh, great.
So for about 10 years. So I was always interviewing him for some of the kids' programs, for the library, anything, the tours he'd give. I also served on 2 advisory committees to the Fort Myers Beach Town Council. And in one of those committees, we did a leadership conference every other year, and that would include a tour of the library. So I was always taking people over there, and Leroy would show them around, and he was so proud of everything.
Well, that building,
Oh, my
which
God,
he was
that building's
instrumental
amazing.
in
Yes.
developing, is that correct?
Yes, he and the board, they worked diligently for, years planning that building, down to the minutest detail. Everything about that building is eco-friendly. I mean, and if you could get Leroy talking about it, it was so cute. Because, like, even the pavers outside, there was a reservoir underneath the parking lot. There is. And the water goes in, and then it gets reclaimed, and that's how they water all the...
So there was a lot of thought and
Yeah. Oh,
planning
yeah.
that went into that. And I know I was reading in one of the articles that he did a lot of the decorating inside.
Oh, yes.
He would add special nuances to
And
things.
he would change it, and he would, he dedicated it all, like, to the history of Fort Myers Beach. So he was making sure that there was new photos, and did he ever tell you about his Ukrainian egg collection?
He did not tell me because I did not get a chance, unfortunately, to meet him before this tragic event. But I did read about that. But tell us about it.
Oh, he was so shy. He would never talk about it unless you asked him to. I would force him. I'd be like, Leroy, you've got to tell him about these eggs. And he would go, it looked like he wanted to kill me. And then he would start talking. And he had a display of them. There was what they are is like they're eggs.
Like Easter egg.
But yeah, like Easter eggs, but bigger. They had ostrich eggs, all sorts of different types. And they were minutely and intricately painted. This is an art form that people practice for years.
Right.
And thousands of hours, teeny tiny little illustrations and dots, and they were gorgeous. It was breathtaking. That was what he did for a hobby.
Yeah, what I was reading said that there was over 100 of them.
Yes.
And when people, because he was so busy and with the library and active in the community, and that people would ask, how do you have the time to do this? And the article, said that he would wake up in the middle of the night if he couldn't sleep, and he would work on it. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing to give. Another thing that he gave to the community to share his passion and his expertise with that. I know it said that he would buy specific or unique bookends to match.
Oh, then he would hide them. Yeah, then he would.
I didn't hear that. I didn't read that.
He would just put them randomly throughout the bookshelves to see if anybody saw them.
And they would be thematic with the books in that.
And if somebody noticed one and commented on it, it would just make his whole day.
Wow.
It
sounds like such an amazing...
I wanted to share a little story about my
Yes.
stepdaughter. Leroy did a lot of work with the kids at Beach Elementary. He's very involved in getting the students to learn how to read and bringing them out of their shells. And my stepdaughter said when she was in kindergarten, she went over there on a tour, and she met Dr. Hommerding, and he actually got her interested in reading. when she was only 5, just a little 5-year-old thing. She loved him.
So he was instrumental in teaching her how to
They-
read and have a
some
love
kids-
of books.
Yeah, some kids pick it up really early, and some kids just don't. Especially now, everything's digital. So he actually got instilled in her a love of books. And that's what she wanted me to share with everybody.
I know
Victoria's story.
she declined to come on.
Yeah,
she was
she's
a little shy, but
kind of like Leroy.
we get it.
He was pretty shy too.
Well, the two of them must have resonated.
Yeah, I think they could. Yeah, they bonded over the shyness. I think they were common ground, common souls.
Well, are you planning on going to the memorial service
Yes,
today?
Yes, I was planning on going down there today. I actually live off island now. I lived on Fort Myers Beach for 28 years, and now I live up the road in Iona. So we were going to maybe go to the beach. It's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly. You might need a little bit of a light jacket.
I mean, might just go to the library, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a place to go on days like this.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to go in and get warm and cozy up with some books. And
just relax. I mean, I went in there. My husband and I were having some troubles, and I would kind of go there a lot. I mean, when we were going through some issues. And Dr. H was, he was a shoulder to cry on. He always had a hug for you if you were down,
Right.
He was just so, so sweet.
Sounds like he'll be greatly missed.
I know there's a push to name the library after him, and I think that would be a wonderful honor. Because, I mean, he literally gave his life to that library.
Right.
I mean, that was his heart and soul and his passion.
Yeah, I did see something on Facebook.
Yeah,
like
there's a petition going around. So, and I know the board, everybody on the board just adored him. Everybody that worked for him adored him.
Because he was there since the year 2000.
Yeah, I thought it was 2005 originally, but no, it was 2000. I mean,
that's a long time. That's a lot of hours, a lot of dedication, and a lot of love.
I never was in there when he wasn't there. I mean, I don't know really anything about Leroy's personal life because I just thought he was very private, and I don't even know. I mean, my heart goes out to his family. I'm not even sure who they are,
right?
Because he was, to us, he was Dr. H, library director guy, and sometimes he was so shy. He was cute. Like, people would come in and he would kind of hang out in the back, and I'd be like, "Hey, get out here!" And I tried to pull him out to talk to people, and hey Leroy, tell him about the air-cooled, air conditioning system.
Right.
And then he would start, his face would light up. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for changing your time, and you can go enjoy your breakfast now.
Wonderful breakfast.
Yes.
Time out. Okay.
Thank you so much. Some wonderful memories to be shared about Dr. H, as she referred to him as. And we have so many people lined up, ready to talk and share their experiences, coming out on a little bit of a chilly day to join us.
Don's waving? Coming up. Yeah, Don was sitting there from the beginning, but we didn't know who he was. So come on over, Don.
I have to say,
come on over, Don.
While he's sitting down,
there you go.
I expected someone older, so I apologize. It was me. I didn't even,
All right, dear. There you go. Don's on now. Don, good morning. Your hair looks fine. Don't worry about it. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Okay.
It's been a tough week.
How'd you guys know each other?
Well, Dr. Hommerding was my boss. He hired me about a year and a half ago, and he took a risk. I didn't have a whole lot of experience in the position I was hired for, and he interviewed me. He really seemed to think I'd be a good fit for the library and good fit for the job, and he brought me in, and I've been working here ever since.
What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. I'm just starting out in my career. He interviewed me for the position I have, and believed enough in me to bring me on staff, and really gave me a break. It's hard to, in the library world, it's hard to find a full-time job, and he thought enough of me to bring me on, and I'll forever be grateful for him for that.
What do you do there, and how long have you been there?
I am the electronic services librarian, so covers a wide range of ground, from anything from computers to phones, really anything electronic. And I have been on staff since September of 2017, so just about a year and a half.
So how's everybody doing that you've talked to?
I think it's been tough. It's been a tough week. Tuesday when we came in, it was, there were some tears, a lot of grief, a lot of, being there, having to be there to support for someone. I think it's maybe gotten a little bit closer to normal, close to normal as it can be in the situation as the week's gone on. I'm sure today there'll be some more tears at the memorial, but I guess that's all part of the process of just going through something like this. They don't put stuff like this in the manual, how to deal with a situation like that. Mm-hmm. So I think we're one day at a time and just doing the best we can.
It's been the community response has been amazing from everybody in the community. Such a small community to begin with, and then when something like that happens, it's they really rallied around each other.
Yeah. There have been numerous patrons who have come up to me this week and just said, sorry about what happened. He was a great man. It's a terrible loss, and I'm sure many of my colleagues have gotten the same responses when patrons have come in. So he was a pillar in the community.
Yeah. Did a lot of things outside the library as well. Yeah.
He volunteered with the thrift shop. He was on the Kiwanis, part of Kiwanis. He was with the Historic Society, and seemed to be able to keep the pulse of the town, and that's important when you're a supervisor for such a public entity. Yeah. Knowing what the public wants and keeping pulse on what people would like to see.
How awesome is that facility to work in?
It's amazing. It's
all his idea.
Yeah, and he was the driving force behind it. There aren't too many libraries that look like that.
No.
And it's one of the, I think Mitch said earlier, it's one of the most impressive buildings on the island. And first time I drove by there, I went in to interview for the job. It was, all right, this isn't just a normal, typical public library. This is a creation.
It's a castle. Yeah, great. So, any specific memory that you want to talk about or interaction that you had with the doctor that you'll remember forever? Or is it that way every day?
There's not one specific memory that I have. I think when I think of him, I'll think, the whole time period I was, working with him, and just the way he was a very. I think I get the sense that some bosses will, kind of dictate from the top down. This is what I want. You go out and do it. He certainly could be demanding and have high standards, but he would ask for your input as an employee, and he would want you to use your creativity, what you like to do, and try to incorporate that into something that could benefit the library. So I think that might be one thing I'll think about for when I think of Dr. Hommerding.
Talk about I was asking Mitch about it, but talk about the puzzle. I'm fascinated by the puzzle that he has, the puzzles he has laid out so that anybody that comes in the library can participate. And before you guys even got here, Terry was telling me about somebody that came in, and he wasn't doing well, right? He had some issues, mental issues, and Dr. Hommerding invited him over to the puzzle, and Terry said he basically saved his life because he made him feel wanted and made him feel like he could be part of the group, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. In fact, when I was in the process of interviewing for the job I guess they were just finishing up the 8,000-piece Sistine Chapel puzzle that's now framed on the ceiling of the second floor.
Wow.
And I think they finished it sometime a few weeks before I came on staff, and that was a big showcase, a big display item. And since then, ever since I've been part of the library, there have been puzzles that anyone can come in and work on, and that's, I think that's another creative thing that he helped implement, something where anyone could come in, maybe put one piece in, but kind of contribute to something that was bigger.
You know, that's at the time those things are going on. It's a little thing that you don't think is a big thing until it's a big thing, and
Right.
it seems like it is a big thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing puzzles. What's the big deal? Well, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It brings people together.
Yeah, it's
Great idea.
Yeah, it's a way sometimes people socialize doing the puzzle, and promotes teamwork. Put one piece in. I see that.
Gets
Also-
people socializing away from
Yes.
their phones.
Right. Yes, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So, what are you expecting today at 1 o'clock?
Well, I expect a few tears, but I guess that's all part of that process when you lose someone like that, and I think there might be some smiles, some fun memories. And I expect a lot of people. He was just a such an important part of the community, and I can't imagine there wouldn't be a lot of people coming out to want to honor him.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? I don't want to let anything. I want you walking away thinking you didn't get to say what you wanted to say about Dr. Hommerding.
Well, I just, it's always when you work with someone day in and day out, they see you sometimes when you're not doing well. You might catch them on a bad day, but he was always very passionate about the library. That seemed to be his purpose. Mm-hmm. And he always, if you were part on staff, he would always, try to impart a little bit of that on you. Like, you're here, do something today that'll help someone coming into the library. That'll help build the library a little bit. And that building, the whole operation, that seemed to be his purpose in life, and he took it to the fullest. And I think if that's one thing that someone who hadn't met him, who hadn't been to the library, and it was, if they walked into the library the first time today and they wanted to know about him, I think that's something I would impart.
Well, you did. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you for having
it very
me.
much, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, sir.
And good luck today at 1 o'clock and tonight. And thanks a lot, Don. Appreciate it very much. Don Gabbard works at the library. He's in the electronics division. And that was very nice what he said there. My attention of my partner here. Oh,
Keep it going, dear.
okay.
Keep it going.
It's going all right. Yeah, everything's going good. Don was great.
Yes,
Great.
I didn't expect such a young individual.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Sometimes you just want to ask somebody how old they are. And
Well, no, I just should have
20s,
asked.
right?
I just should have asked his name. I guess that would have been the better plan.
Now it's tough asking those questions, but I think it's important that we do this.
It's important, and it's not only to honor him, but it's a celebration of his life and all the stories that people are going to share with individuals.
Rick Sebastian is going to be on next. Rick, thanks for coming on. We
You
appreciate
got
it very
this one?
much. No, you're going to stay there, dear. You're going to stay there. Pass him your mic.
All right.
Rick, have a seat right there. There we go. How you doing, Rick?
Oh, I'm doing
How are
really
you?
good. The snow plows are out nice and early, so it's a great day at the beach.
So, Rick, you're going to talk to my wife there, and her name's Kim.
Hi,
Tell her
nice
what
to
you do,
meet you
and
today.
Hi, Kim.
just
Can
throw
you
a guess
share
in.
with us what you do?
Well, I'm retired officially for 5 years now. Been living on the beach for close to 40.
Wow.
I serve as one of the directors on the Fort Myers Beach Library Board.
Okay. So that's what brings you here today.
I'm out
share.
out and all today, and to share with you thoughts about the Dr. Hommerding thing, and I have details about the memorial service that will be happening today at the library.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right.
All right. So give us the details about the service today.
The public memorial service starts at 1 o'clock. We estimate it'll probably last till about 3. We're having it on the ground floor of the Fort Myers Beach Library building. We have chairs set up for about 160, 70 people, but there's plenty of standing room down there. We have speakers from the beach community minister, and the family is here, his family from their homes in Minnesota. So it will be a memorial service honoring Dr. Leroy Hommerding and give a chance for the community to heal and remember a great man who's done a lot for this island in the form of the library, which is truly probably the most forward-thinking, ecologically positive building on the beach.
Yes. Can you share some of the ecological advantages of that building?
Well, when Dr. Hommerding came on board the library in 2000, we had just a small flat roof building down off Oak Street. And if you were there in June, July, and August, you could feel the heat radiating through the ceiling, which wasn't good for people, let alone for the books and the material in the library. Mm-hmm. And he had a vision of what a library could do and what a library to a community could mean. And they started a funding drive. At times it was popular, other times unpopular. But he raised the money and we started construction. I believe it was finished by 2012. I don't have the exact date. But as far as the vision he saw, he wanted a very open, very beautiful place that reflects the beach and the Gulf of Mexico here. We have like floating waves in the ceiling, which are part of sound reduction, which you need in the library. Rather than just standard aisles of books, they're broken up by art displays. We have plenty of paintings. We have community rooms for meetings. But ecologically, the building has solar panels on the roof. The parking lot is permeable, that rainwater is collected in the cisterns, which supplements the air conditioning system. The building is practically off the grid when it comes to the electrical consumption that the building needs.
I know for me driving by, it is such a large building, a large presence in this community, and it really reflects how it was a central piece of this community. Very
much so. Now, it's only 3 floors, but part of that is the very first floor, the ground floor, was necessary because of flood elevation and the fact that the building is very attractive to the outside, but the windows are all solar resistant to keep solar rays from coming in. We have panels in there that come down when the sun is severe on one side of the building. We have a portico, which is in the works of being designed now, that'll give a better entranceway covered for people coming in, because we do get rain occasionally down here.
Yes, well, we do, and we might this week. So what are some of your fond memories of working and knowing Dr. Hommerding over these last many years?
Well, I've been on the board for 2 years, but I've been a user, a patron to the library for as many years as I've been on the island. I've been involved, other than when I was working, I've been very involved with the theatrical community in Lee County. I've been an actor, a director, and I would often go into the library and use their computers or books in doing research for the roles and plays I was directing. Met Dr. Hommerding many times, and they're always a very courteous, open, friendly man who just had his ear and his hand out to help anybody and everybody on the island. He's involved with so many groups on the island other than the library. He worked with the Historical Society, Mountain House, very close relationship with the town council. But for myself going into the library, as we saw it grow, it got more beautiful all the time. If you've ever been to the 3rd floor, which has a cafe with sandwiches and coffee, right now it's in the transition of getting a new manager to run that up there. But we also have a bookstore where you can buy used books at a very large discount. We call it the living room because it has a gigantic window that looks out over the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
And that's just open to the public during all library hours. There are 2 community rooms there with a movable partition. We've opened that up for different groups. Like when we have the council meeting, the board meeting the other night, we expected a crowd, so we opened it up. But we had a group visiting from the Czech Republic last year in their traditional garb, and they did dances and songs from their history there. It was very, very nice. But the different groups, like the book club meets there, and other lecture groups happen all the time. We have TV monitors that show events, and let's say lectures, informative lectures are coming into the library, plus it's posted in the local beach papers.
And he kind of oversaw all of that, and
he coordinated
a
as
lot
director,
a lot of hours.
Attracted many individuals to come in and share at no cost. We have movies that get shown. We have children participate. We have a very nice children's area that looks like a Disneyland-esque characters and all. Plus, we have a before school and an after school program with the children from Beach Elementary. And the doctor was very fond of doing personal tours of the library with the children. When it was the new year, kindergarten kids would come in. And anybody that wanted a tour, he'd either do it himself or have a member of staff. But the staff and the volunteers and the friends of the library that are there just racking books up and getting books ready to be re-put on shelves. Probably the thing that has been the most surprising in the past 2 years, someone donated, because we have book sales about 4 times a year, that we sell off books that have not been in circulation, or we now have updated versions of them, or books get donated to the library.
Right.
So we sell them for very low $1.50, $2. But someone a couple of years ago donated a jigsaw puzzle. And it was a very nice, large jigsaw puzzle. So the doctor arranged to have a table put out, and people started coming in and working a little at a time, a lot at a time. We now have a jigsaw puzzle of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And it took a long time to finish off, but it was all done by local people from the community coming in, putting in 5 minutes. We had one gentleman who came in and said the best part of his day is the hour he puts in on the jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, we have heard time and time again how important that jigsaw puzzle program, and how they're mounted. 2 of the large ones are framed and mounted in the library.
The one of the Sistine Chapel we had mounted on appropriate frame and hangs in the ceiling there in the jigsaw area. Plus, we have things that have been donated to the library. We have model ships. We have different shell exhibits. We have many, many archival pictures of the town of Fort Myers Beach before it was a town, back to the arches, back to the bathing beauty contests of the 1920s and 30s.
And he was very into the history of the area. And
very much. He was an educator up in Minnesota before he came down to be the director of the library. So his, shall we say, his hand, but his heart is all over the building of the Fort Myers Beach Library. And as I've been called on to say a lot this week, the Fort Myers Beach Library, we are an independent library. We're not part of the Lee County system, but we're a very open public library. And all we ask of people is to come in and be courteous and civil toward one another and enjoy and share the space. You can go into the living room upstairs. You can go into another living room on the second floor where we have over 120 periodicals, all the local newspapers, and an aquarium. You can come in and look at the fish.
It does sound like Disney in there.
There's a little bit of a corner
everything
that you can get off by yourself or hang out with other people. And for our seasonal people and snowbirds and people who are on vacation, we have the computers. You come in and print your boarding pass that you need to get back up north. If you want to, I hear there's 18 inches of snow.
May not want to go. I also heard that the library has the largest in the state collection of large print books.
Oh, very much. Not only large print books, we have audio books. They used to be called books on tape, but now we have digital formats. We have movies, digital movies, CDs that you can check out. And there's a little bit of something for everybody there. And if you're one for having something you need to read poolside, either through our bookstore or we have bundles of books. If you're into mysteries, you can get a bundle for like $5 that have 3 or 4 books in them.
Wow, what a great community place to go, and it's amazing what he has created in those 19 years.
If we had, and I've lived on the island for close to 40 years, if we had on the island what we would call our town square, it would be situated around the library. For entities that were there before Beach Elementary School, I can't think of when that was first founded.
Yeah.
We have the Bay Oaks Recreation Center right next door. The town is working on making the entrance to that a little bit more accessible. And the town hall is only about 3 blocks away. So it is the, shall we say, our town center. We got everything but a gazebo.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing all that information and speaking so highly. And
So,
you have
Rick,
a
I just
question?
have one question before you go. What's the agenda for today at 1 o'clock?
The agenda at 1 o'clock is we have pastor from, I know it's Pastor Rusty, and I think he's the Lutheran minister from the Lutheran Church on the island. The actual name escapes me. We have several other clergymen on the island who are going to be there in attendance. We have a speaker from the board, of course, and different speakers who have from the community. And it's more of a community thing because Dr. Hommerding reached out to this community and say, come here, utilize, enjoy. He saw his vision was that a library is where a community comes together. And he wanted to make it an open, friendly place for that. So the other speakers will be, we don't know if members of the family want to speak, but the things we've done to that ground floor, which some call the garage, I think garage is a French term for a cafe. But we have on the third floor viewing area up there, every month there's a different art exhibit from local artists who, of course, are selling their works, but it decorates and changes all the time. Those artists are voluntarily bringing their artwork to decorate that area today. We have plants that have been donated to decorate the area, and the fire department and the Lee County Sheriff's Department will be on hand as well. We have voice volunteers from the Lee County Sheriff's Department to help with traffic. And one of the things we have is we have about 44 parking spaces at the library, but we've been generously given by United Beach Methodist to be able to use their parking area as overflow. But we highly recommend people to use either the trams or the trolleys to get to the library today.
Great point. I wanted to make sure people knew at what time they should start getting down there. And do you think there's going to be enough room to hold everybody when they get there?
We've been approved for the seating area that we have, and then we have plenty of standing room area adjacent to that. Some of it might be a little outside, but the sun's coming out, and it's supposed to be close to 70 today.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, thanks so much for coming on and for providing all that history and the information. We appreciate it. And good luck today.
Well, it's a day you have these memorials to encourage and support the healing that goes on. It was a tragedy. Something happens like this, and it's being addressed by the council on the island and the Lee County Sheriffs, and we've had great coordination and help from those entities. And today will be a totally safe thing. As we say, our public library on Fort Myers Beach is a safe place for children and everybody.
Well, thank you so much for coming down today.
Glad to be here, and thank you so much for helping us.
Absolutely. Now you're stealing my interview.
Thank you very much, Rick. I don't have to. You are prepared for this interview, so I'm going to let you. I'm going to let Kelly move over, and I'm going to. I don't need to be on all the time, dear. If you would go ahead, Kelly. Kelly Smith is joining Kim now for our final interview.
Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Unfortunate
having
circumstances, but we're glad to have you here and share your memories and thoughts and stories about Dr. Hommerding. So, how did you first meet him?
So, I actually, Jan Fleming asked if I wanted to volunteer in the used bookstore on the third floor of the library. And so I signed up for that and started my Thursday afternoon shifts. I've been there for 3 years now.
Okay.
And Dr. Hommerding just makes a point of coming up and meeting everybody that's new. And then he continued every Thursday to come back and visit. And I just got to know him over the past 3 years for my Thursday afternoon shift of volunteering. And then in the meantime, he convinced me that I needed to go to a Friends of the Library board meeting.
Okay.
Just to see if it was something that I might think about pursuing, joining the Friends of the Library board. And I went in as a visitor and came out on a committee. and as a member. So yeah,
So he was persuasive.
He was very persuasive that way. He truly was. Yes, yes. So yeah, he's a great man. We'll miss him terribly.
And I assume you're going to the memorial service today.
Yes, I am going to the memorial service. Yes,
and we were talking a little bit. Everybody has mentioned about those puzzles.
Oh yes, it's incredible.
Not only do they add to the eclectic nature of the library, but there's a story about a gentleman, a very moving story about how those practically or literally saved his life. Can you share that with us?
Yes, definitely. So there was a gentleman that was visiting the library and happened to go to the second floor where the puzzles are set up and just watched. He watched for several different days in a row and finally decided to join in on putting the puzzle together. And he then showed up every day after, and come to find out, he shared with Leroy that putting the puzzle together and being a part of that literally saved his life. He had been contemplating suicide, and being a part of something that he could join in with other people helped him and saved his life. So, and it was just an unintentional thing. It just was meant to be.
And that's how he's, touched, it sounds like, so many lives.
Absolutely, he did. Absolutely. Yes, it was just incredible. He just was always so welcoming and made everybody feel like they were at home in the library and that we were part of a library family. We weren't just volunteers at the library. We were all, and even my co-volunteers and the people that are employed there. It was a big family. We're a big family. And he made a point of making it that way. He wanted everybody to feel that way.
And did I hear that you drove him in a parade?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. Last year, on my Thursday afternoon shift, I approached him with the idea of maybe doing a float to honor the library in the Shrimp Festival parade. And he said, oh, that's a huge undertaking. It takes too much time to get that around. We don't have a sponsor, da-da-da. And I said, okay, well then, how about you ride with me in my little car and represent the library, and we'll throw candy in the Shrimp Festival parade. And so he looked at me and then kind of quizzically, and then he turned around and I said, well, you don't have to answer me right away. You can let me know. Just think about it. And he turned around and he said, in his way, like this, people understand, I think that's a wonderful idea. And he said, let me go get the entry form and we'll get it filled out and send it in right away. And so he did. We filled out the entry form, and we were in the parade and threw candy, though we were a little overzealous with the candy throwing because we ran out about the cottage, and I said, hide the cooler. I had a soft cooler that had the candy, and I said, hide the cooler. We'll just wave at everybody.
No one will know.
Nobody will know. Exactly. But I'll tell you, he giggled the whole entire time. He just thought that was wonderful. Had the best time, and the people that were lined up on the route that were applauding him and yelling for him, and Dr. H, Leroy, we love the library. I mean, it was such a show of support just to be involved in that Shrimp Festival parade. I think it meant so much to him that people just were so happy to see him as part of it. And actually, we had just a week before his passing, we had decided that we were going to be in the Shrimp Festival parade again this year. He came up to visit me, and I had noticed it was on the agenda for the Friends of the Library board meeting, and we had really discussed it, whether we were going to do it or not. And I said, well, I see it's on the agenda, so I take it that you're in this year. And he said, oh, yes, we have to get it approved, though, because the entry fee. And he said, but we need more candy this year because we don't want to run out. And I said, don't worry, I was hoping you were in on this, and I already bought the candy, and I got double what we did last year. So that was our plan, to be in it again this year. So unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen, but
I know that the community, everyone has talked about how the library is such a big part of the community.
Oh, truly, it is. It really is. And when I'm on the third floor in the used bookstore, it's just such a great experience. Like I said, he makes everybody feel so welcome, and we have so many people that are visiting the town, in locals too, that will come in, and the feedback that I get how wonderful the library is and how much they've enjoyed looking around, and how many different things there are to see in the library that they've just loved. People from all over the world. It's just amazing. It really is. And like I said, the local community too. I mean, it's like people will go and spend hours on the third floor and use the Wi-Fi just because they feel comfortable there. So it's just great. It is truly.
Well, thank you. I loved having you on and hearing you talk about all of the wonderful things that he has done and did for the community. And I know it's going to be a sad day today, but
definitely
also a day to celebrate all these wonderful things.
That's kind of, I'm in hopes that that's what people are thinking when they go to this memorial this afternoon. It'll be a celebration for him, celebration of his life and what he's accomplished.
Well, and I hope that you'll find a way to participate in his honor and memory for the Shrimp Festival and throwing the candy and
I know. This we'll get past this today, and then maybe see what we can figure out as far as being entered in the Shrimp Festival parade. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me,
sharing your wonderful stories with us and with everybody, and honoring him today. Thank you so much.
I'm happy to.
All right,
thank you, Kelly.
folks.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate Kelly coming down, and really all the guests coming down and sharing all the wonderful stories about such a great man.
Well, I'm glad you interviewed Kelly because
Are you?
Yes, because I don't think I could have kept it together with her. You were close.
I was close.
Mitch almost got me at the beginning.
I know.
He almost got me. That was for sure.
Well, I think today is going to be a part of sharing stories that people remember and will smile about, but it's also going to be a day of tears, as it's a great loss to his family, to the library, and to the greater Fort Myers community.
Right. And a reminder, everybody, that
Now you got me started.
Oh, okay. The service starts at 1 o'clock today, but the advice is start your way down earlier than that, way earlier than that. There's 44 spots at the library, and then there's some overflow at the church. But it's probably going to be bigger than that, so I don't think coming down at 5 to 1 is going to work out later.
Come down early. You might want to bring a chair if they are going to likely run out of seating and you need that, then bring a seat, bring a light jacket or a sweater. Expecting it to get warmer today, but it is the beach and there is the breeze. I believe he said they're planning on it going till 3, so everybody can have a chance to speak and honor a wonderful man.
Right. I'm so fascinated by the puzzle. The puzzle thing is going to live on forever.
Puzzle thing is a big thing. I was sharing with Kelly that my grandparents on my father's side used to always have a jigsaw puzzle out and work on a jigsaw puzzle.
See, I don't think I could do that. I'd get too aggravated by it.
Well, you just do a couple of minutes and then you move on, and it keeps your brain sharp. And we can all use.
Oh, here we go. You can't let 1 hour go by without a shot, right?
Nope.
8,000. How long do you think it takes to finish an 8,000 piece puzzle?
And some of those puzzles, all the pieces look the same. I mean, they're pretty intricate.
Isn't that the same way with every puzzle? Every piece looks the same?
No, like you can divide puzzles by color and the different themes, but when you have like an architecture like the Sistine Chapel, it's going to look very similar. There's going to be minute detail, and that makes it even harder. But apparently there's a whole system that these guys were sharing with me about
finishing a puzzle?
About how to do a puzzle.
What's the system?
Well, they didn't share all their strategies with me yet. So
there is a system, though. Okay, so that's at 1 o'clock. Not the puzzle thing, but the ceremony's at 1 o'clock from 1 to 3. And then 6:30 at the beach. I always get this wrong. The beach pub, the beach bar, which is right on the beach. We were there. I think we were there. They lower the flag. They lower the flag every night, which is kind of cool. It's very cool. And so tonight it's going to be in honor of Leroy. And it's going to be interesting and hard day for people.
Yeah. Our heart goes out to the residents and the community and the family members that are going to be,
I'm sorry to say I've never been in the library. I hate
No.
admitting that.
I do too. Well, it's such an impressive building.
Right.
It
It
took
is.
me a while.
Wait, you're looking to say, whoa,
realize-
that's the library?
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, I thought it was City Hall.
It's huge. It's really huge. And to hear all of the stuff that they have there, and that they're not even part of the Lee County system, so they're independently operated, and what he's done to amass the collection that they have and the variety of things that they offer there is truly amazing.
Right. Well, thanks to all our guests today, Mitch and Don and Kelly and
Carrie.
Miss Carrie and Rick. And everybody was great on a tough day, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. We had a nice big audience today on Facebook and on the apps. And next week we'll have Bill Mitch is coming in. We're getting back to the water discussion next week. They had a big symposium yesterday at FGCU to talk about solving the algae problem. And so we're going to talk to
That would be good.
Dr. Bill next week from FGCU. And also we'll get back to the politics in the second half hour. Don't forget, we'll be moderating the Candidates Night Forum on February the 11th down here on the beach. The election is coming up in March, and we'll see you in 1 week back here at Pete's Time Out, either inside or outside. It is January and February, which is a little colder, but it's still
Can be.
It's still the beach. The sun is out. It's a nice day.
It beats snow.
It beats snow. That's right. I don't know how many people I was talking to yesterday or last night when we were on taking our class. They're saying there was 5 below or 10 below, so you can't complain about the weather about now. So
It's fine.
right.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And
We will
again,
see you
we extend our condolences, and we will see you.
in 1 week right here at Pete's Time Out on Fort Myers Beach.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.